Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. This is part 3 of my semi-hollow body guitar build. So yeah, it looks definitely different than the last time you've seen it. The neck is on. I've got a real simple oil finish on the body. A couple more layers of a couple more coats of oil varnish, and this will be sealed up and good. Not going to go any more fancy than that for the prototype. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with it. Really looks like something. The body is big. I don't think it's too big. I made it larger than what I think. The dimension across here at the lower bout is pretty much spot on with a typical 335 style guitar, but this waist here is bigger on mine. Not by a huge amount, but it is definitely wider here at the waist. It's also, the body is a little bit longer. I think a typical 335 style guitar, somewhere here where my fingers are, that's probably where the end of the body is. So it's maybe an inch bigger. But hey, this is my arch top semi-hollow body style guitar. Neck is super strong. I can really feel that neck flexing, so it's definitely not going anywhere. Not worried about it at all. Controls. Let's talk about controls for a minute. A lot of different things we can do here. And for this prototype, what I'm going to do is 3-way switch here, volume tone, and output jack. That's just going to be standard setup. Magnetic pickups here. I haven't decided what I'm going to put in here yet. I think I'm going to go to a Seymour that has they have a style. I think it's the Seth Lover humbuckers, and they're kind of like the original PAF, that old sound. They're not even potted, so try to mimic that old style pickup. That's what I'm going to do here. A lot of different options. I've really toyed with the idea of, on this bridge here, putting a piezo. And from there, the sky's the limit on how in the world you wanted to control this thing. One way of doing it, 3-way switch for your pickups, add another mini toggle over here, and that way you can control magnetic pickups only. Middle position could be a blend, and then the lower position could be piezo only. Then piezo volume, piezo tone, magnetic pickup volume, magnetic pickup tone, or vice versa. It's one way of doing it. Another way, maybe a little simpler, is to put the piezo on there, single volume, single tone, and then have a blend. Have a blend where you can go from straight piezo all the way to straight magnetic. Another option. I mean, frankly, to me, I don't care what it is. You as the player, tell me what you want, that's what you'll get. But I think that it'll really give it some dynamic sound. May just have to try it. I think, though, you would definitely need a preamp on the piezo to kind of match the output of those humbuckers. So that's going to have to fit inside this body. Would have to get a place to put a battery. Haven't really thought about that too much, but certainly can be solved. Neck joint, definitely going to redo the neck joint. And here's the deal. Getting this neck joint here and getting it super accurate, it's a lot of handwork. It's a lot of detailed work, and really at the end of the day, it's a skill. It's a skilled requirement, which obviously I can do, but it's time. And I do everything I can to keep my guitars really cost effective for everybody. And everybody should have an opportunity to play a well-made, great sounding, handmade, USA-made guitar. So I'm doing what I can to keep my prices as low as I can. And one way of doing that is reduce the handwork. If I can get this off the CNC machine and it's already done, then that's really going to lower the cost. So the joint isn't bad, but where these come together, it's really it's going to be hard to get that right on. And really to get it better, it really probably needs to be this to be tangent where it comes in, and that's one way of solving it. Honestly, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the size of the tenon, so the full neck, the full neck profile, this surface right here, that surface there is actually going to come into the body. It's going to give a little more glue area, and depending on how this surface here lays out, you'll possibly could see a little bit of this maple underneath the fretboard right there. Different way of doing it, and these points right here, I think how I'll come in there, I'll actually probably put a little bit of a radius on there, and really why I do that is when this neck comes in, it's going to slide in. I'm still going to use this part right here as my depth stop, but when that neck slides in, there isn't going to be any trying to get this 4-degree angle, deal with that. That has to be very, very precise. It's handwork, or I could jig up the CNC machine and create all kinds of stuff. But again, it's more operations on this part. Really what you want is the minimum amount of effort on the CNC machine to get this to come in, sit in here appropriately, and to line up without a bunch of hand detail work. If you do that, your cost is going to be less. So I'm definitely striving and pushing towards that. And I can show that. Maybe I'll hadn't thought about this. I'll come up to the computer screen here for just a minute and kind of give you an idea what that looks like. But yeah, this is going to be something. Bridge should be here today. A tailpiece should be here today. And honestly, what I'm going to do is string it up with that bridge and tailpiece, and put a nut in, put my tuners in, and we're going to see what this thing looks like. A couple minutes, we'll be on the computer and show you what that new neck looks like. Hang tight. Okay, let's take a quick look here at the differences in the neck that I'm planning on implementing into the next version of this guitar. So this is the neck as it is designed right now, and this is what is in the guitar that you've seen that I'm working on. And really what the deal is, you got this surface right here. And the difficulty is getting this angle right here, getting that lined up with the body perfectly. Because when it comes off the machine, that angle is not there. That's going to have to be hand routed, hand chiseled, hand detail work, which is totally fine. It can certainly be done that way, and if the customer wants that, then we can certainly do that. But it's going to cost more. And again, I'm trying to keep my guitars, available for everybody. So a simpler way of doing this. So this is the design as it is. A simpler way of doing it is to come here and to use this approach, where now this surface has been made even with the other edge. So this is going to run itself into the guitar, and that whole 4-degree angle there, it doesn't matter anymore. I'm still going to have the 4-degree angle here on this that little tab right there. This surface right there, that is still going to be the 4-degree angle. But the amount of material that needs to be removed there, it's all in a single plane. You're not bumping up against the fretboard in the corner. It's still handwork, but it's a third of the handwork, maybe even a little bit less. So the tab is still the tab, or the tang here. This a tenon that comes in deep, that hasn't changed any. I'm going to have it overhang the fretboard, overhang this a little bit. That's going to add. You're not going to see this edge on the guitar potentially. Plus the pickup's really buttoned up against there, so that's going to be hidden real well. Now the thing is, depending on the sanding and the finishing of the body of the guitar, you may see just a little bit of this edge creeping up into the body. That is going to be one of the differences, but I really it's a very minor, small issue. Other way, same side on the other way, flush with the edge of the neck. I mean, frankly, it gives a little more glue surface. You got this big old pad here, and the more glue, the more glue surface you got, the better
neck joint there is going to be. So that's Rev B. Quick idea looking here of what it looks like in the body. Um, Again, I mean these are perfect dimensions, but on the prototype that I have, I got a little heavy with sanding right here on this surface right there, and um, you can see a gap right here. There's a gap in there between the bottom of the fretboard and this surface of the body. This new design, it won't have that. If that actually is the case, you're going to see this material there, and it's going to be way less noticeable. In fact, it's going to look natural. This same side over here. Um, One thing I'm really not too happy with on the design that I have is this edge right here. The transition, I mean, again, these are perfect dimensions. That transition isn't all that great. So what I may end up doing, I'll probably the first time I'll probably just leave it as is because I can get that point right there, on that edge right there. I can get that point off the CNC machine pretty tight. So I think it's actually going to line up real well because this surface is just going to roll in there, and there's no modifying that I need to do with that surface. So I'm going to try that first. Plan B, so to speak. If that doesn't work, I may actually take and round these two edges off and put a little fillet right there at that point. Maybe bring that back and put a small little radius there, and a little bit of a bull nose maybe, and that may actually clean it up a little bit too. We'll see. Sometimes it looks great on computer. Sometimes when you actually get it off the machine, things change a little bit. But then you can see how that's going to fit in there. Um, Depth stop is going to be controlled by this surface right there. That's still going to be a hand operation to get that set in there right. But the nice thing about it is that that can be filed and sanded and get a really good, nice, tight joint there. So um, I'm not too worried about that. So yeah, big tenon that hasn't changed any. Um, Super strong. This thing's really coming along nicely. Um, Part four, I think part four is going to be getting the pickups in, getting the strings on, putting the controls in, and kind of getting a feel for what the overall look is, and even what it sounds like. So part four coming soon.